Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 4. As you may have noticed, we have a rough draft of our first paper due this Sunday. As hopefully those of you who watch these videos are aware, there are no extensions on assignments, so you got to get that in by this Sunday to get credit on the rough draft. The rough draft should be an attempt to complete the assignment. If you do not attempt to complete the assignment, you will not get credit on your rough draft. It doesn't have to be polished, but it at least has to be an attempt to complete the assignment, which should include all of the different aspects of the assignment, which we went over in last week's video, which we'll go over again in today's video. Let's share the screen and get to it. So, as you see right here, Project 1 rough draft is due June 23rd. So things that could be useful for you is looking at the planning worksheet, which instructs you some questions that are open-ended that hopefully will help you start to brainstorm what to put in your rough draft, whether it's what's the audience, how do you know, how is the document organized, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a helpful document. Moreover, the rough draft worksheet will hopefully help you with a little more specifics in what I'm expecting and what you should be doing. So feel free to go over the draft worksheet as well. You won't be reviewing each other, but you can review your own in this fashion to make sure that it is working effectively. Okay. So look at those two documents. Again, we're working from one of these three things: the form, the guide, and the booklet. And then there are 3 samples down here that I want you guys to look at to get an idea of what we're working with. Before we look at the samples, let's once again look at the assignment sheet. So the key is to be concrete in your analysis and use examples from the document, quotes or images, either direct quotes using quotation marks or screenshots of images from it as you make your key points. Be sure to analyze and not just describe the document. So you have to pass judgment on the content and design. You have to be saying, does this do a good job of reaching its audience or a bad job of reaching its audience? Not simply that it does have an audience. And be sure your analysis is well organized. Again, these 5 analysis points are the keys. You need to have these as sections in your memo. Your memo should start with an opening paragraph, and most of you are doing this right now in your question of the day memos, followed by 5 sections and then next steps. Each section should be one of these. It should be called addresses particular readers. Then you talk about in your writing how good of a job it does at addressing particular readers, then helps readers solve problems, and et cetera, et cetera. Each one is a header. And remember, headers just have bold font, same size, same font type. The only difference is that it's bold for the headers. Okay, so again, this is formatted as a memo. These are your keys. Let's look at a sample. So here, this person got a little creative, and if you'll notice, they changed the name of their headers. So this is who is the document intended for instead of reaches a particular audience. You can do that, but you don't have to. What problems are being solved, purpose and background, words, images, and readability, accessibility, and then you can have a conclusion at the end. Your attachments should be at the bottom, and they should actually be after next steps. And then you do not have to do the appendix, which you'll see in some of the samples. Let's look at one other sample just so you guys know what we're working with here. Again, we have addresses particular readers, helps readers solve problems, goals, and culture, use design to increase readability, words or images or both, then the next steps. Then underneath the next steps is where you have the attachments that show how these things are working. And when you have those attachments, you should refer to them directly in the text, if that makes sense. So if you have an image that you're screenshotting and putting at the end, refer to it directly. Say, attachment 1 shows how it does this, that, or the other. All right. So again, turn in your rough draft here. It is due Sunday at midnight. Okay. Email me if you have questions after this. On to our question of the day. It is, what's one goal you have in terms of your career? Why is it a goal? And how do you hope to achieve it? So once again, the question of the day, what's one goal you have in terms of your career? Why is that a goal? And how do you hope to achieve it? So that's the QOD. Remember to format the question of the day in memo format with the header, with the bold-faced, with the introduction paragraph, with the bold-faced headers, and small paragraphs after that, and then next steps at the bottom. Okay, that's all we have for this week. As always, email me if you have any questions, and get those rough drafts in on time. All right, thanks everybody.